In Minecraft, if you put a command block in a dispenser and activate it, nothing happens. A dispenser will not place a command block, or any other blocks besides shulkers and powdered snow, mind you. However, if we go back to February the 14th, 2014, almost 10 years ago now, a Minecraft 1.8 snapshot 14W07A would release. And in that very same snapshot, now entirely forgotten, dispensers were given a unique and powerful ability, loved and regularly utilized by the biggest map makers in the game, that led to one of the most major Minecraft security exploits at the time. Ultimately, this resulted in Mojang being forced to remove the feature from the game just over a year later, and it never being added to Minecraft again. So what am I even talking about? Well, as I mentioned, in Minecraft 1.8 snapshot 14W07A, dispensers were given the ability to dispense and actually place command blocks as blocks. But what made this so notable was the fact that you could also dispense command blocks with stored NBT data in them. So, for example, if I place this command block and then add in a command that sets the time of day to night like so, I can hold Control and then middle click to get a version of that command block with that command stored in it as NBT data. Then I can put it in a dispenser which will place the command block with the time set night command already in it. Now, you can obviously do much more with command blocks than just basic commands, and immediately map makers love this change. You could be pretty creative when it came to this ability. For example, you could use a command block which sets the coordinates of the location it's placed as another block, effectively allowing a dispenser to place any kind of block. Furthermore, you could get more advanced and use one of the dispenser command block's most useful features, randomizers. So for example, here's a dispenser with a bunch of command blocks in them, each which has the command say 1 through to 9. When you activate it, one of the 9 command blocks are randomly dispensed and executed, saying a random number, and thus giving players the ability to create extremely compact randomizers. This is obviously a very basic use of this function, and map makers were able to utilize it substantially more. For example, you could create a system that would execute a selection of random commands, including commands to generate certain structures or do certain things within the game. I am no command block expert, in fact I don't know much about them at all, but clearly they were extremely useful at the time, as you can see a variety of comments from map makers all claiming to use them regularly for their maps, and it was obvious that dispenser command blocks were a beloved feature. A beloved feature with a powerful hidden exploit. Now, normally in Minecraft, if you somehow manage to get a command block on a server where you don't have op or any other additional permissions, you can't do anything with it. This is because you need creative mode in order to even access the command block GUI. And then, even if you do have creative mode, you can't input commands into a command block without op. However, if you somehow manage to acquire a command block which was already loaded with NBT data, you could in fact place the command block in creative or survival and activate it with no op required. But obviously there's an issue here. You won't be able to obtain a command block on a random server, let alone one with dangerous NBT data already in it, unless you are in creative mode and have op. Or can you? Force op exploits are exploits whereby a player is able to forcibly give themselves op or administrator permissions on a server. Force op exploits are a lot like ultra rare versions of dupe exploits. They are often oversights in development that hack clients or game modifications can exploit and don't come around often. They are pretty rare to find. One such exploit that happened to exist around the same time as command block dispensing was the signed force op method. You see, in 1.8, around the same update command block dispensing was added, signs were given the ability to execute commands. So for example, I can use this website to give myself a sign, which when right-clicked will execute a specific command I've set it to. Now, there was a gigantic oversight with this implementation. Specifically, hacked clients were able to abuse this. I'm going to log on to a vanilla 1.8 server here. I don't have op or any other special permissions. I'm going to use this module of the client called op-sign to set my sign command to op me. Then I'm going to chop down a tree and craft a sign. Upon placing the sign and right-clicking it, boom, I now have op in under a minute from joining the server. I gained op almost as quickly and effortlessly as it takes all of you watching this video to click that subscribe button. Don't believe me? Give it a try. no pressure. Anyways, basically what's happened here is the way these custom signs were implemented is that they were meant to be used by server operators to give players ways of executing commands set by them around their server. So for example, a sign that teleports players who right-click them. As such, the commands are run at the same permission level as the console or a command block. But the issue is that Mojang didn't implement a method of validating if a player had permission to place a sign with specific data on it or not, and as such, game modifications and hacked clients can create data which allows them to execute commands they should not be able to. Big problem, as you can imagine, when any player can casually hop onto a vanilla server, which were much more common at the time back in 2014 by the way, spend 30 seconds getting 3 logs to make a sign, and gain instant access to operator status. Now you see, the issue with the sign exploit was that it could only be used on vanilla servers, and larger, more notable servers weren't running vanilla, they were running a modified server software called Spigot. And this is where the command blocks come back into play. One very popular type of Minecraft game mode that used to exist back in 2014 and 2015 were what's known as creative plot world type servers. These were basically servers where players have access to creative mode and have a limited area or plot where they can build and share their builds with other players. Furthermore, many servers would give their players creative in their hubs, and if you managed to get creative mode on servers at the time, you were able to use clients and modifications to get up to some very naughty shenanigans. So back on my 1.8 server now, which I've upgraded to Spigot, I'm going to use this module called command block to give myself a command block with NBT data. Now, I am in creative but don't have op, which remember, normally wouldn't let you type commands in a command block. But since the command block already has the NBT and thus command in it, whenever I place the command block and activate it, voila, it works. The reason I'm able to basically give myself a command block out of thin air is not actually an exploit though, rather a side effect of being able to copy the NBT data of blocks and items like you can with chess in creative mode. When in creative, the game lets you get away with basically many forms of NBT editing, even when you don't have op. Technically, this would be possible in vanilla Minecraft as well, but there's just no way to feasibly do it. Regardless, the sign and command block exploit would become very popular at the time, with a variety of griefing groups and individuals exploiting it to cause major damage to Minecraft servers. The popularity of plot servers as well as vanilla servers in 2014 only made griefing easier. However, on May the 22nd, 2015, 1 year and 3 months after the Force Op exploit snuck its way into the game, Minecraft 1.8.5 would be released, patching the exploit. The original bug report where the exploit was reported is private, there's no way to view it, intentionally done by Mojang of course. Non-opt players could not place command blocks and signs with NBT data in them anymore, and as such, the Force Op exploit met its end. Or did it? Whilst the sign method and spawning in an NBT command block method were in fact patched, Mojang missed one big thing. In Minecraft 1.8.5, dispensers were still able to place command blocks, and while non-opt players couldn't place signs or command blocks with NBT data, dispensers could, bypassing the 1.8.5 patch and still allowing players to force op themselves. 3 days after the release of 1.8.5, 1.8.6 would release, removing the ability for dispensers to place command blocks forever. As stated by Surge, the Mojang developer most involved in patching this exploit, it was necessary to remove this feature permanently, and it wasn't an easy decision. This did not go over well in the map maker community, and now even to this day is considered one of the most controversial things Mojang has done. A very large percentage of maps at the time used command block dispensing for randomizers, and these mappers weren't happy, their hard work had been broken overnight. QMagnet, the lead creator of the Diversity map series, one of the most popular and advanced adventure maps ever made, would complain in a bug report about this change, mentioning how it had effectively broken many maps, with the only other alternative, armor stand randomizers, being significantly worse. In fact, in Diversity 2, which released around this time, that at one stage did seem to utilize command block dispensing, I came across this dispenser with a sign which says original version non-armor stand, likely the original contraption that did something for one of the minigames. Now, like I said, I don't know anything about command blocks, but it seems like the alternative method QMagnet and the Diversity 2 map makers had to use when command block dispensing was removed was significantly more complicated and inefficient. Some map creators even threatened to pack up and leave over this change. What I'm trying to make clear is that this update was a very big deal at the time, and clearly Mojang weren't happy about having to do it either. Regardless, the whole ordeal has been mostly forgotten now years later. Interestingly, for months after the exploit was patched, many servers would not even update beyond 1.8, meaning that through most of 2015, if you found the right server, you could still wreak havoc. Minecraft was very different back then, that's for sure. I hope you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, thank you all so much for watching.